Hello all, welcome back to an update from the PMRR. It's been a couple of weeks since I've done an update video on the layout, and there's been massive changes, all for the good and a lot of progress. So I'm going to take you through some of them just now. As you can see just in front of you here, this is my dispatcher panel, my CTC panel. John Bowman built it. It's absolutely brilliant. I couldn't be happier. There's still a bit of detailing to be added into it. We're going to get the place names added into the board, the track plan at the top. We've got to get them added in. The switches, the switch covers and plates, we got them from Rick's over in the US. They came grey, painted them up white and marked out the lettering in black. I think they've come out absolutely brilliant. And then at the bottom here we've got card holders for the card system that I'll eventually get put in place. So just to go over the CTC here with you, the yellow lights tell you which way the points are going. So in this case here, you're looking at that going through the main line, and then if we're ever coming off into any of the yards or anything like that, obviously we just turn the switch. So just to show you how that works, here. The point over here is point 4. So we come to the switch and it's set to normal, which is set to the main line. And then if we change that up to here and then over to R, it flicks on the board and goes to the reverse, and that switches over in the layout. So the dispatcher will get a call from whoever's working in the, this is the dock side, or that used to be the dock side, sorry, this is Driftwood Mine. Say they want some tracking time and they need to get some work on the line done, and then the CTC can, or the dispatcher here can change the point and allow it to go in and do them and change the works. And then they can obviously, once they get clearance to say it's back, they can just flick it back up and over, and that changes it back to the main line there. You can see probably in point 3 better there if I do it with that. If I just flick the switch, the light goes off to say there's nothing working, and then it goes to R, which is the reverse road, and the point's changing in the background there, and then I'll put that back. So as we can see with the layout, I've got every single piece of track down now. This is Thomas Edgar Steelworks in, all the track works in. A lot of ballasting and things to be done, but it's a whole mess of wiring, as you can see here, and it's all running well. All my points are working, everything's set. I've managed to get some lighting in underneath the layout. The sections here, there's still a lot more packets to go in. Got some lighting underneath here, lighting this area up as well. So I'm really pleased, really happy with it. So if I'm in here working myself and there's nobody in working the dispatch panel, I've got an option that in this case here I can flick this switch here. So I change all the point to 3, which switches it off, and then I flick the switch over. So this immediately changes the power from working here, the point, to the local switch, which is going to work. So you can notice here that there's no LEDs and this white light's on. So this white light here tells me that the local switch is powering it, and the dispatcher can't do anything with it at all. So if we were to come round to point 3, which is actually around the other side, you're going to come up to a local switch panel, which is going to look like this, basically. Nice bit of copper clad. It's going to sit just inside these holes. This is just a test plate I've done. So it's going to sit like that, and then this will allow me to then flick the switches here and change the points in this direction, totally independent. So it does mean that if I'm in here myself, I'm not having to run back and forward to the dispatcher panel to change points. I can change all my points to local work, and then that way I can just work it. So if I want to flick the switch up here, which is 0.5, then there's going to be a panel on the side here that I can do that locally, rather than having to run back and forward. So that's what the point of that is there. So if there's no dispatcher, all these numbers get changed straight up. So that changes all the lights, and all the lights will then go off. And then what happens is all the switches go this way, and that puts all the power over to the local switches for that way. So when you're running an operating session, or I'm just doing it myself, I have to make sure at the end that the point is returned to the main line at the end. I would then contact the CTC, or I would come back over here. I put my power back over to the board, and then I would return everything back to the main line. And then that would match what's happening. And at the end of the day, you have to make sure that everything is set to mainline and all the switches are back to the CTC machine, and then we're good going forward. The part below is for signals, which I haven't got yet. It's quite simple. It's going to be red and green. So if it's over this way, you're going to change the signal to red or change the signal to green. I don't have the signals installed yet. I don't even have them bought, so I need to buy that. But the way my signalling is going to work is not prototypical. It is this shed prototypical. Whereas if I'm standing at the steelworks here, and then I've got a point up here, and I'm 0.9, and I'm going to have a signal 9 just sitting here. Or I'll look in that direction, I've got 0.10 and I've got signal 10 down there. Then it's going to tell me green means I can take something out that way. If it's red, there's something coming in, because this line here along the top, it disappears off, and this is to disappear off the layout after a different city somewhere. But if I'm doing some work in the yard and I've got a train ready to leave here, if I've got a signal going this way red, it means that I can't go down round towards Altoon Yard here because it's in working or it's been allocated somewhere else. And if it's got green and I've got a permission for the dispatcher, my train can leave here and head off down to Altoon Yard, which is brilliant. It's exactly what I wanted. So that is all working, and I'm very, very happy with that. The place is a bit of a mess, but take as it comes. I've also managed to install all my track detection modules. So what happens is I've got my test Line local just sitting up here, which I've tested everything on. So as the test local runs over an area of the layout, as it goes back and forwards to over the new sections of the track, then the track detection module lights up on the board there blue. So that tells them that only when the power's on right enough, if it's a sound local, then it's on all the time. But that'll tell you the track's allocated, and it'll tell the dispatcher if somebody asks for permission to come into that section, they can say no, somebody already in there. And again, the same, if it changes, if they change it direction, and we go up to the other area at the back there. So as we cross the point, it'll go off, and then it'll come in to say this section is here now working, and the train will stop in that direction. So only the main line is covered with the dispatcher's panel, as in for the track detection and the points. Every other point off the layout as it stands, as we move to the next area, every other point in the layout as we stand, all works by hand thrown. So you can work locally yourself in all the different areas, but on the grey ballast track is the main line, which is controlled by my CTC panel. So that's going to add a wee dimension. So when I use PMRR for my Switchless, the dispatcher is going to be a crucial part where you're going to ask for permission once you've built your trains up in different areas to then go into the different area and move on to the next one. So really pleased with that. Up the top here, I got my base for my engine servicing facility in now. So I'm going to have a 2-stall shed up here with a couple of offices and some different bits and pieces off it, and then there's going to be a steam area up here because I've got a Challenger and a couple of other locomotives that are running steam, so if there's any preservation days. And this over here is Altoon Yard, which is all ballasted in, and then I just, now that the wiring's finished coming down there, I can now block that off and put a back scene and everything on it, since I've nothing else to run down there now. All the wiring is now run, thank God. And as we come down this side, it's a lot darker. The house lighting's helping a bit, but I've still to install the LED lighting along the back at the top there. As you can see, I've done that here. I've got the blue lighting to add in for a blue for the nighttime running, and then there's a couple of areas I want to add another couple of strips of white just to make it a little bit brighter. So this here is going to be Driftwood Mine section. It's changed a few times, going back and forward in there. So I've got my tracks in here now for the slaughterhouse and the packaging plant, which is Armour packaging plant. And then going to have a small rubber pellet industry, which was mentioned by Andy. who says that I should maybe suggest put one of them in there. And then the siding up the side here, we're going to have my brewery, just a straight off siding. And then up to the top is going to be Driftwood Mine. So the back two sidings are going to be storage for empty wagons. And then the three sidings in here, basically they sit below the loading docks from the mine. So that's going to be a big cave, and it's going to be almost built into a quarry on that front there. Back scenes in along here, and then along this side here, this is my chemical plant. This is going to be Chemco Limited, or Chemco Company, Chemical Systems it is, sorry. So that's going to go into there. So I've started to finish the fascia around here. It will all be painted black, but my plan is to put a one coat on everything like I've done just now. And then as soon as I've done that, give the wood a sand, get all the details and repaint it up nice, get the details and the place names and everything added onto it. And then once I've done that, I'm going to varnish it. And then that'll keep it good and stop it getting marked and different things like that. So the progress has been brilliant. I mean, I'm a year and a month since I started digging the foundations really and clearing the area to put a shed in. I've now got every single piece of track in. I've now got trains running. I've had trains running. There's a couple of videos already up with trains running. And I'm on to the bit that I like, which is scenics. I love building scenery. I love building buildings. The steelworks along this side here it's going to be a jungle of pipework and frames and tanks and everything. It's just going to look almost scientific. A bit sci-fi in there. And then it's going to be a bit plainer along here because this is mainly a storage yard. Mainly quite detailed up the top here with the engine servicing facility, but as you go down the bottom, it's mainly sidings for storing things. Down the bottom, everything needs a good clean. A rule of rubbish lying everywhere all over my track, and I've got a lot of stuff that needs to be cleaned up. But now that the wiring's done, then I don't really need to worry about that. I can clean it up. I've now added the fascia round about my helix, which you should be able to just see here, hopefully. So that's all added in round there. As you look in here, you're going to look at rock faces. That's all going to be, the backside is going to be covered with rock, so you're not going to see any of that lighting around the backside. So it's almost going to look like you're looking at it into a tunnel. And then the face at this end is going to be blocked off as well. As you come round here, it's going to be a quarry on one side with a hillside on the opposite side. It's going to be made into like a cutting, and then maybe a short tunnel just where it meets the join here for as it goes round the other side. Just something to break the scenery up as it goes through, but try and make it kind of as consistent as possible. I've had a lot of good feedback and a lot of people. I'm up to about 83 subscribers now, which is brilliant. A lot of people I'd love to get to 100. That's my goal. If I get to 100, I'm quite happy. I've got a lot of good people coming back and helping me with stuff. I can't thank John Bowman enough for his work that he's done in this layout, and it's been a total pleasure. I've had my boy in testing some trains with his friends, so that's been really good as well. And I'm just really looking forward to kicking on and getting it detailed, and I'm really looking forward to having a running session. That's why I'm looking forward to. But I'm going to get this place gutted. I've got to test the track. I've got to sit in JMRI and make up trains. I've got a lot of things to do in that front, but as far as it goes just now, I'm really pleased. I want to thank everybody for viewing this. Thanks for your time. If you wouldn't mind dropping a wee subscribe on it, and I'll return the favour with your own channels, that would be brilliant. Even just a like in the video would be brilliant. And then we can take it from there. So until now, thanks very much for your time and take it easy. All the best.